So, welcome, ladies. I was so excited for this. As soon as I got the email, the message, I was so excited for this. My name is June Grace Simba-Jones. I'm with Equity Smart Loans. My office is based out of Miami, LA. I live in North Carolina, though. So we are licensed in states outside of my, office bases. So I'm so happy to connect with you, ladies. Are you all from North Carolina?
Yes. Yep.
Well,
Well, I
yes
just
and
moved. I
no.
just crossed over the line to South Carolina. So if you can do South Carolina also, that would be great.
Okay. Yes. Yes. And if I can't, I have colleagues that will be more than happy to help you. And if not as good as I am, better. I do not like to work with people unless they're slightly better than me at something. So, if we could go ahead and introduce all of you all, I will have, when this recording is edited, I will have all your credentials, your information, contact information on the video. So, but we would love to hear your voice and your introduction.
Okay. I'll go first, just something brief and short and simple. But my name is Sharon Harvey. I am with Keller Williams Southpark. I've been with KW going on 4 years now, transferring from one career to this one, which I absolutely love. And I'm just looking to continue to craft, my business and grow it. So here I am.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you for putting this together. So, what industry were you in, and what led you into real estate?
Well, I was previously a hair salon owner, so I did hair for many years. Outside of when I graduated from high school, I started doing hair, and then I got a full-time job in the insurance industry.
Okay.
So when the pandemic came in, a little while after the pandemic came in, I stopped doing hair and went on into real estate. And then I finally let my full-time job go as well. I've always wanted to go in real estate, but I was just too afraid to take that leap of, just doing straight commission.
Yes. Yes.
So I took that leap and here I am.
How do you feel?
I love it. I love it. It's different now. I will say that I do miss my clients doing hair because building that relationship, I do miss that, but I don't miss the long hours of standing on my feet, and because it's wear and tear on your body.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a love for real estate.
Sounds good. It sounds like you can continue those relationships, but just on another level, it sounds like.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Who's next?
I'll go. Lisa.howard, and I've been in real estate. Actually, I started with KW, Keller Williams Southpark, as a new agent 2 weeks before we got shut down from the pandemic. So that was very interesting. Definitely made me question whether I should be doing this. I started real estate because I had gotten downsized from my corporate job in 2018 and had a great service package, took time to figure it out. And I always love helping people. I get a great reward out of that, just spiritually. It makes me happy to see other people acquire dreams and goals. And I believe everybody should have a home. And I try and do whatever I can to make that possible, whether it's get you ready or, if you come ready, trying to help you find, that property and then see the deal through so that we can try and have a win-win, right? At the end of the day for everybody. So with that said, I've never had any regrets. This is what I want to do. I'm still building my business as a solo agent. And I have a lot of support around me. the group that we have today, we support each other as solo agents, and that's very helpful. So I'm just glad to be here to find out more information, resources for my clients.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And who's next?
I'll go next. I'm on the phone. Christinehamlett.
Hi,
And how are you?
good, good. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. I am actually a dual agent again. So I've been in real estate maybe, I was gonna say 3 years, because I think I had my license for about a year and
Okay.
did the part-time. And then I went in during the pandemic full-time and
Okay.
then came back to work just because the clients weren't coming as fast, because I'm in the design industry and the construction and city planning industry. So I've seen homes go up and new subdivision and things happen around Charlotte for years. So I was like, you know what? I think I want to be on the realtor side of things, help people find their dream home and get in and get settled into the city.
Right.
So that's why I went to get my license, just because I've always been around the development field and seeing things go up. So right now, just looking to learn more about it, from the mortgage side, get those answers so we can help clients get in and feel comfortable about buying their home, or, downsizing, upsizing, whatever, just getting through the process smoothly, because that seems to be the first hurdle, just being comfortable to take that step to go for the mortgage and get their paperwork ready. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been trying to do in this dual phase, trying to prep up my clients and get them ready and comfortable for buying that home.
Got it. So are you also on the lending side or construction and sales?
Construction development. So building, pre-permitting. Yeah. So, but more been on the commercial side more than residential. Yeah, I've always been on the commercial side.
Okay. So you don't deal with residential at all, or you do now?
Not in my full-time job. No, I'm commercial and public buildings.
Got it.
Yeah, so more the larger scale.
Got it. Okay, sounds great. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to go into more detail with each one of you once we're done with all the introductions. But I think this is all that's on the call, right? There was one.
Yes, we had Almarie. I believe her phone dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, she said she had to hop off.
Okay.
No worries.
Oh, she's back
There she
on.
is.
Somebody's connecting.
Everything okay? She's connecting. We'll give her a few minutes. So once Anne-Marie, is it Anne-Marie?
All.
Hello.
Almarie.
Marie, got it. Whenever she pops back on, we'll get her introduction. I would love to know what areas you all service.
North Carolina and South Carolina. North Carolina, like the Charlotte area. South Carolina, like Lake Valley, Clover, Fort Mill, TDK.
Okay.
The same. North Carolina, South Carolina, any area in North Carolina, Charlotte, surrounding areas and suburbs. Whether you go north or south or east or west of Charlotte, and then South Carolina, Fort Mill, TKK, Rock Hill, Clover.
Okay, sounds good. Miss Hamlett.
And I am right now active in Charleston, South Carolina, even though I'm in Columbia, but my construction projects kind of take me between Columbia and Charleston. So I activated in Charleston since that's a hot market there. Okay. And then I still have my Charlotte, I guess, referral status right now. I'm not full-time in the Southpark office any longer, but still keeping that connection to do referrals up and have access to my team here, my great team. Didn't want to lose that connection.
Sounds good. And can we hear Miss Anne-Marie or not yet? Okay, maybe not.
Hi, ladies. I'm here. Something came up, so I'm listening. I pretty much service the North Carolina area. I'm still in the process of getting licensed in South Carolina. and maybe Florida eventually. But right now, North Carolina, Charlotte, surrounding areas is my main focus.
And you are, just to clarify, I know this, but just to clarify for our listeners, you are a realtor. Are you residential or commercial or both?
Yes, I am residential.
Sounds good. All right. So ladies, I would love to just to give you a little bit more about where I'm coming from and the teams that are behind me. We just became the #1 lender in the country and very close to becoming the #1 lender in the world. And I'm referring to UWM, which is United Wholesale Mortgage Lenders. So I actually represent Equity Smart Loans as well as UWM. And so the reason I have chosen to go with these two companies and to stay with them, and there's nothing anyone can do to pull me away, is the fact that we have access to all the products that are available on the market as far as lending, whether it be residential or commercial. We take each individual situation, we see where they are and we listen to them. And then we also try to see where it is that they really truly could go. I always say that people only know what they want as far as they know their possibilities. So sometimes we come to the table with possibilities that they never even fathomed. So our goal is to exceed your customer and your clients' hopes, not only in finding a lending product or a lending solution or a lending strategy, but also time-wise. One of the reasons we have become #1 is our closing time. Our closing time is averaging at between 15 and 17 days closing. Most of the other lenders are at like 30 days, 45 days and more. So our response times are incredible. Our process is so streamlined. You know, the way that we communicate with you all to just make sure that you know every day we are pushing the file along and updating you on where your client is and when the closing is going to be completed. So our communication is, you're not going to be left wanting more. We communicate very frequently, very consistently, and we're fast. We have a system that helps us to work smart rather than hard. We are not worn out to where it's not sustainable. So it helps us keep loving what we do. So I'm really excited to understand what you all would like to see as far as us supporting what you're doing. I would love to know what your challenges are right now or what your focus is on. If anyone has any situation, scenarios, thoughts.
I think for me, I want to know more about down payment assistance. Okay. What you guys offer as far as that?
So that, because we service such a huge area, what would happen is you would tell me where your client is, where they're trying to buy, and then we would zoom into that and find out any possible programs, deadlines, because it's very specific to the area in which they are.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. And then for me, I'm looking at similar in the same package, but upfront costs. What are the origination fees, the application fees to get the client started? That's always a question that comes up.
Yep, sounds good. So again, you would provide us with some specifics. I would come to you with some specific questions, and then I would come back to you with those. Those are we're very transparent and very fast with giving you a very clear idea of what we can and can't do. But I will tell you that the other advantage is we're a wholesale lender. So the costs, the prices, the fees that we pass on to your client is going to be minimal comparative to, any other competitor. I'm not
So
sure.
when you say that, June, you said you're a wholesale lender.
Yes.
Okay, could you explain that a little bit more for me?
Sure, yes. So United Wholesale Mortgage, which is just one of the lenders that we actually use at Equity Smart. I am just so excited to work with them because of what they've been doing for us and for obviously to be number one. That's one of so many lenders that I have access to. Now, they're an example of a wholesale lender. And in short, they do so much business that they're able to negotiate so low as far as what they pass on to their borrowers. It literally just works.
Is that in terms of fees?
It,
They can negotiate origination fees, points,
all of
interest rates.
all of
Well, I guess the interest rate would be through the points they can negotiate.
So one thing, and I'm glad you said that because I was going to forget to bring that up. One loan product that is doing really, really well right now is the 2-1 buy down. I'm sure you all are familiar. So we have really creative ways of buying down the interest rate. And we're getting ready to launch a 3-2-1 buy down. So you're getting as much as possibly 3% off of your rate for your buyer, coming in. And then by the time that the rate drops down to 2% or 1%, they can refinance. So definitely, even when it comes down to rate, we have some really, really creative tools. That's just one of them. We have very creative strategies that have been working for the seller to buy down and cover some of these costs. We create a very tailored, custom created package for your buyer to make almost anything work. So yes, to answer your question, wholesale lending does allow for a lot of all of the above costs and fees to be brought down and very competitive.
Now, it always concerns me, June, that these fees are somehow tacked on the back end of the loan for the client. So how would exactly that work? Are some of the fees tacked on to the back end?
And that's a very valid point to be aware of. I always say, and this is not something we do, but it's definitely something that happens, is don't just listen to the salesperson who calls, whether it's you, the borrower, or the lender. Those things will be very specific in the contract. And you will see exactly what you're paying up front. But that does happen when a buyer doesn't look at their paperwork. It can happen. I've heard it to happen. That doesn't happen with us. But even with us, I would say to get in, to encourage your buyers to look at what's ultimately written down, and not just the wording on a phone call from any salespeople they deal with. But yes, that does happen, unfortunately. I've heard it with some, not with us. That's not how we do business, but it does happen in the lending industry.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to think. As far as we do deal with commercial and residential, we're seeing a lot of people who thought that they were interested in buying another home or buying a home, going into investing in a second property as opposed to buying right now for their own personal need, because they're saying, okay, I can wait to buy for myself, but this is a smart time for me to invest in an investment property, just because Airbnb and renting is just very lucrative right now. So we do lend to all the areas of real estate ownership. One thing that I do know is as realtors, you guys are experts in your area side of things. And then what goes on in the lending is a whole different world. So I would definitely, I'm open and I'm available to do a more detailed second maybe meeting where we talk about all the products that are available, VA loans, the USDA lending. I can share with you some patterns as to, what's happening a lot of and what's really not happening too much right now and why. So we could do another meeting where I go into details for products and strategies and give scenarios as to how we have helped borrowers and buyers, real life scenarios, especially things that are not common. For example, I saw a lady, I don't know, do you deal with, are you all seller agents as well as buyer agents?
Mm-hmm. We are, yes.
Okay. So one lady I remember not too long ago, this year, sold some land, sold some property, but kept some life, I don't know what you call them. It's almost like a royalty, life royalty, where she will get a certain percentage of appreciation on the land and property that she sold for life. That's something I've really never seen happen before, but that's because she consulted with a good titling attorney, good life estate attorney. So, there's so much that we could share, you could share with me and I can share with you, that is really empowering and helping people do make some moves that they ultimately couldn't make it unless they had that information.
And I know you had mentioned, you said you're averaging right now 15 to 17 days. So that's completed application to underwriting.
So now I'll be clear, because that's on the residential side. As you know, the commercial will take longer. On the commercial side, I'm have like two numbers in my head. I don't want to say the wrong number. I'm going to have to get back to you on the commercial side.
That's fine. And then you said this is a company you've been with for some time. How long have you been with this? It's United Wholesale Mortgage.
Equity Smart and United Wholesale Mortgage I've been with for the past year. Before that, I was with Rocket Mortgage. And I am they couldn't buy me back. There's not a price they could buy me back, even though they're a great company. I think they're second. As far as customer service, they're good, but yes. So just to answer your question, it's been a year.
Okay.
And I'm not going anywhere. I don't foresee myself going anywhere anytime soon.
So Equity Smart is the parent company. I'm just trying to understand the two names, because you mentioned Equity Smart and then United Wholesale.
So Equity Smart Loans, based out of LA and Miami. We have a third base in Arizona, but the main bases are LA and Miami. Those are our headquarters. But we do have hub offices all over the country. And then we have officers that cover almost all the states, not all of them.
I'm sorry, June. How long were you with Rocket Mortgage?
So that's Rocket Mortgage is who trained me and started me off, which was another year with Rocket Mortgage. Before that, I didn't give a background on myself, but before I became a loan officer in 2020, I was in government. I was in government procurement as an environmental paralegal. It was kind of a little bit of a lot of world administration, paralegal, procurement, administrative type of duties. And then before that, I was in corporate sales with insurance as well. So I can relate to Miss Harvey making the switch from insurance to real estate. There's a lot of similarities. But then I've been in the real estate field in those transitions, just not directly on the lending side.
So United Wholesales, is it that you work with different lenders, different companies? That's what United Wholesale?
Yes, so United Wholesale, so what United Wholesale Mortgage does is, like, just if you imagine a regular retail wholesaler, they literally get the loans from those loans don't go through 2 or 3 middlemen and get marked up like, for example, the retail lending or the depository institution. Is literally wholesale mortgage loans wholesaled. So they're able to buy such a big bulk of the market. And then that's how then they're able to somehow keep the fees and cut the rates some and, keep it a little bit lower than retail. And then the advantage of a wholesale broker like United Wholesale is the number of types of loan and how they can restructure them. As opposed to, I always used to be a credit union type of person. My husband and I both have credit unions because we preferred them to like the retail banks because they tend to take care of their customers more, as opposed to the retail banks that are more so worried about their stock and their shareholders, as opposed to their banking clients. But even with those types of banks, they are so limited as to how many products they offer. That's why a lot of times people don't get qualified when they go to their bank. Usually they have a very few cookie cutter molds that you have to fit, as they're limited. But with them being with a broker, as a realtor, gives your borrower and buyer way more possibilities. And then you take the broker to the wholesale level, it's just more ways to save your borrower money and make things happen.
What's the lowest? Have you looked at the rates today and seen what the lowest rate out there is for anybody?
I can tell you right now, because I just opened my alert, and just as I opened it, my phone rang, but I have it right here, and it is actually at 7%, wasn't it last week?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it went down. It was 7 something. It went down to 6.625.
Yes,
At
at
your website.
end of last week. Yep, you're right. Hold on. It is. So, it definitely still is at 6 point something% today, but I really don't worry too much about that because one, we can buy the rate down and that's what we focus on doing. And two, you all keep hearing this, I'm sure, the date, the rate, and marry the more. What was that?
Marry the house, date the rate, marry the house.
Yes, because there's some circumstances I have caught people almost walking away from buying because the rate, they're so focused on the rate. But my thing is, if this house that you were looking at last year is $80,000 or even $60,000 less this year, is the rate really that important? It's really not adding up, So even though the rate is still higher, prices have gone down from last year and the rate is going to change. So I honestly don't, obsess about the rate at all.
So what kind of buy downs do y'all offer?
So the 2-1 buy down is what's really working for people right now. So once you start the 2-1 buy down, your rate is going to be 2% the first year lower. The second year it'll go up to not 2% lower, but 1% lower. And so and the 3-2-1 buy downs also coming out any day now. So that takes it even lower.
So it initially, you can buy the rate down when you make application on a 2-1 by 2 points, and then in a year, you can do what?
Well, the 2-1 represents the first year is 2%, 2 points. The second is 1 point.
If the rate is still up, or is it?
No.
Does it have to be at a certain point before you could get that additional 1%? Okay.
No. And this is the thing, if the rate goes lower, which it often does, it doesn't stay high, historically doesn't stay high for that long, maybe a year at the most 2, at the very worst 3, which would be unusual. So you can always refinance, and you can get the 2-1 buy down, put you in a good position. You got the home lower this year than you would have last year. But within 6 months, you could be making another pivotal move that's putting you in a even more of a power seat. So I always say, do good today, but don't just stop there. There's always another power move or another pivot that you can always do. So for me as a lender, and when I'm working with my clients, I'm always looking for a way to leverage. There are a million ways we can leverage in life daily,
I guess with these buy downs, my concern is, again, like, how is it truly just that lenders are competing for clients? Because somehow I feel like the client is going to have to pay for that buy down somehow,
No, it's actually paid down with seller concessions. So it's a negotiation between the seller and the buyer, and it's paid, but it's paid more so on the seller side.
So it's paid by the seller by conceding to lower the price by a certain amount?
Yes, yes. Yes, they can, that's the most common approach. It's really back to this tailor custom creating a situation. When you have a buyer and a seller coming to the table and you look at their very specific situation and you look at their you look at their goals, when we create this 2-1 buy down situation, it's not one that's coming away, walking away winning and another one losing. It's always a situation where it's, oh, I didn't look at it this way, by me lowering my sale price, but then I'm putting myself and my family in this other situation, where I'm winning by selling right now and buying or making this other move with my family. It's a win situation. We try to get our clients out of the mindset of there's only one way to win, because most people come to the table with only one idea of what winning looks like for them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So June, what's popular right now? And I asked because I'm gonna need to hop off at 2:30 for another meeting.
Sure.
But what is the, I guess, the simplest package? Because it seems like we have our clients who are trying to explain the different options for. So maybe what is the simplest or best package, and then what is maybe the most, I guess, popular package right now? What is giving people the best results?
I'll give you three. I would say, like, the focus right now is one on the 2-1 buy downs, because they really truly work for both sides. The second one is USDA loans. There's a lot of areas that people aren't aware is zoned USDA. So of course, with that, you're coming with your no down payment, low, if any, closing costs. So you're getting a buyer into a home with very little money, if any, to sign that contract. So definitely USDA loans. I've seen somebody buy a house and then a couple of houses down, where what they thought was a suburb, it's USDA. And if they would have just looked at the house 2 doors down, it would have been a whole different lending situation. So definitely scouting USDA inventory, and then also VA loans. VA loans have had a lot of added benefits to them this year. And there's a lot, veterans are always moving. That will never stop, even when the rest of the world is moving slow, So I would say those three. I'm sure there's more, but I know you all have to go. So and we could definitely pick this up again. You just let me know what you want to focus on and what time works for you, and we could do a part 2.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to learn more about the different loan products.
Okay.
Lisa, Christine, what do y'all?
Sorry, I put myself on mute. I would too. I would definitely. You said that there's been some changes or added features for VA veterans, and I would definitely like to know that and a little bit more about how a USDA loan actually works. I mean, I know about them, but how does that? I've never done one. Mm-hmm. So to know what that kind of looks like, so I can better prepare my client.
Sure. Okay. So we will schedule that. And thank you, ladies. I will get this meeting recorded, cleaned up, and sent to you. And I will talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Yes.
Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks again, Sharon.